Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
Today on Going In Raw News Brief, we're going to talk Kairi Sane saying goodbye to WWE, details on Vince's stance on Aleister Black, Charlotte's prospective move to Hollywood, and New Japan Pro Wrestling getting another championship. But first, it sounds like WWE could be hitting the high seas for the biggest party of the summer. Larson, what's in the news?
There you go. Well, it sounds like someone finally took my suggestion to put on a wrestling show on a barge in international waters, because by the sounds of it, SummerSlam could be going down on a boat.
On a boat.
PW Insider's if PW Insider's Mike Johnson is to be believed, in a recent update on PW Insider Elite, Johnson is reporting that WWE has discussed moving SummerSlam out of the WWE Performance Center and onto the beach or a boat, or maybe both, with Johnson noting that the show could be broadcast from more than one locale. So we could have like a WrestleMania 2 situation, some of it on a barge in international waters, some of it on a beach. That all sounds great. I like the sound of all that. Meanwhile, Wrestling Observer's Brian Alvarez claims that, quote, Vince wants something wacky for SummerSlam. I know that's probably the wrong word, but he doesn't want it to just be another SummerSlam in an empty arena with a bunch of fans wearing masks. He wants to do something different, and I'm not sure what that is.
I love this. I think this is great. Put it on a boat, put it on the beach, put it in the boardwalk. GCW's homecoming show was this past weekend.
In Atlantic City, yeah, the boardwalk.
Exactly. And it looked great. You can have fans. You don't have to, you maybe not, 1,000, maybe not 100, but you could have 75. You can have 50 wearing masks, social distancing, and it'll give it something different. I really love the idea. I love the idea that maybe, just maybe, Larson, they're thinking outside the box for SummerSlam, and people may be showing Vince McMahon different wrestling outfits over the past couple months who have done things. I mean, mainly it's been GCW. But I love this. Randy Orton in his promo on Raw said, I want this match to be on a bigger stage. And all I was thinking was, I know it's going to be SummerSlam, but a bigger stage is not the Performance Center. It isn't.
No, it's not.
So, I mean, I really hope they do something fun. Anything that isn't in the PC. Anything.
Agreed.
The beach would be great. The beach is a great idea.
It would be great. A boat would be great. I think just embracing the inherent ridiculous nature of pro wrestling, and just going with that, so long as it doesn't distract from the matches being put on, I think is a great idea. Yeah. Then if you have a boat, someone can get tossed off the boat. That'd make for a great spot.
You could have somebody get tossed off a boat.
How about this? It's like a battle royal, but instead of getting tossed out of the ring, get tossed off the boat.
I love it. That's great. That's awesome. Get a couple shots of wrestlers like swimming around in there. I think it'd be awesome, man. I want to know what the friendos think. Should SummerSlam be on a boat? What other things can they do for SummerSlam that's summer themed? I mean, what else do you think of when you think of the summer, Larson? Picnics in the park, cold beer,
barbecues.
Have a belated 4th of July thing with some fireworks or whatever. I don't know.
There you go.
I don't know. You can have a cookout.
Yeah, that's good.
Cookout.
That's good.
I just want some barbecue right now, to be honest with you.
That does sound good.
Anyways, what do you guys think? Let us know in the comments below. WWE seems to have confirmed Kairi Sane's departure, of course, after last night's Raw seems to have been written off after weeks of rumors that her time with the company was coming to an end. WWE, in fact, confirmed the news following yesterday's Raw, issuing a statement which read, quote, following Monday Night Raw, Kairi Sane took to Twitter to thank her fellow superstars, WWE staff, and the WWE Universe for their support as she prepares to leave WWE. WWE sends its best wishes to Kairi Sane as she sets sail on her next voyage. WWE's release also included a couple tweets from Sane, which read, quote, my time in the NXT and WWE locker rooms was incredible. Everyone was kind, funny, and talented, so every day was full of happiness. Also, I was saved by the supportive staff behind the scenes. I will forever love and respect all these professionals I had the pleasure of working with. I was able to accomplish so much in the last 3 years, but it wasn't because of my ability or my strength. It was because of all the constant warm support from the fans. I am so thankful I could meet you all. From the bottom of my heart, Kairi Sane. A lot of people would think that maybe WWE didn't quite do as much as they could have with Kairi Sane. I'm one of those people.
Same here.
However, her time in NXT alone was pretty great. And once she got to the main roster, it wasn't always smooth sailing. But she's pretty terrific, and
Oh, she's outstanding.
And people love Kairi Sane. So hopefully, whatever she chooses to do next, whether it's maintaining some sort of ambassador role with the WWE, or maybe once the pandemic is done with and they get back on track with their plans to establish a territory, perhaps in Japan, maybe she'll be part of that. But hopefully she's happy and is doing what she wants to do.
Yes, I hope so. Because she is great.
Yeah. Man. Somebody else who's great. We talked about this yesterday. This is kind of interesting. Aleister Black. We both think he's the bee's knees, right, Larson?
Oh, we think he's great. Yeah. In yesterday's News Beef, we just discussed a report from Sportskeeda's Tom Collahue that Vince had, quote, mixed emotions about Aleister and felt that there was, quote, something missing about him. Today, Talk Sports' Alex McCarthy provided some additional context and clarity to that report, noting that, quote, after reaching out to sources, Talk Sport has learned that Vince McMahon is a huge fan of Tom Budgen, the man behind Aleister Black. Their source noted that, quote, Vince is a huge fan of the performer and of Tommy, size, agility, skill, but he's worried the character is a gimmick and will limit him, and added that any talk of Vince souring on Aleister is, quote, absolute nonsense. So, I still think Vince is wrong. I don't think his character is a gimmick. It just seems like it's him turned up.
I understand it a bit more now, though. If both things are true, if Vince has soured on the character of Aleister Black, if he sees him and says, okay, well, his presentation. I mean, this is me purely speculating. And here's the thing: I have heard this anecdotally, just from because we're often very vocal about who we like, who we don't like, mainly who we like. And I'm a big fan of Aleister Black, and I have been. And a lot of times when I mention Aleister Black and how much of a fan I am of his, I get feedback from our friendos in the Twitterverse, and a lot of people say, I don't get it. His presentation is second to none. His packaging is second to none. His in-ring is really good.
Yeah.
Is really damn
amazing.
good.
He's amazing.
I kind of understand if Vince is trying to figure out what fans are supposed to grab on to. I kind of understand. Look, if Vince sees a guy and he's like, hey, he's just a gimmick, or the character is just a gimmick, I want to take him off TV and add some dimension to him. I'm not going to argue with that if he actually follows through with it. If he actually follows through with it.
I guess the concern there is if, okay, you're going to take something in the Aleister Black character, which has a ton of potential to make a ton of money for WWE. A ton. Like, he is like, if you were to cast like the perfect kind of anti-hero, that's Aleister Black right now, if you're going to take what has a ton of potential, hone that potential into something that is more fitting with Vince's vision or WWE's vision, all right. I guess the worry is if Vince sees his presentation, something he's done really successfully for a number of years, even just in WWE's system, and then say, all right, this isn't working, let's change this. History is kind of dictated. That's usually ending up in mixed results. Sometimes he'll go back to the drawing board with a character and something good will happen. And then sometimes we get the comedy gimmick, the revival was pitched, where it seems like Vince has no real concept of who these performers are, not the character, the performers. And I guess that's my worry, where Vince is like, I don't see the Aleister Black character as being what he has been. I have a vision for it. And like, he told Mox, this is who you are, doing some of this Ambrose stuff. And you see a man as talented as Aleister Black, a performer as good as he is, with a ton of potential to do really awesome things. And you want the best for him. You want him to succeed. And just worry that, I don't know. I feel like the problem is they put him in a room for 4 months. That's the problem.
That's a big problem. And
they killed a ton of his mystique by putting him in a room for 4 months.
Okay, but here's the thing, though. Like, I get what you're saying, but at the same time, if you're not fleshing out the character, then it is just a gimmick. Then it is just a presentation.
Well, that I think the issue then, I guess, if the idea is it like, who's the onus on in this particular instance? Is the onus on creative to provide better storylines for Aleister, or is the onus on Aleister to come up with ideas to fresh up his own character? Because creative hasn't had crap for him. They've had anything good for him.
Okay, so here's my thing. Drew McIntyre. There's two people that were sort of rumored to have been winning the Royal Rumble this year. It was Drew McIntyre and Aleister Black. Of the two, who's the more fleshed out character? By far,
Drew, because they let him be himself.
Well, I'm not going to assume that I know what creative is telling Drew and what creative is telling Aleister Black. Drew is very much himself, but you also know a lot about Drew, and partially because you have his backstory. We know his backstory. It played out on TV. He was fired and he came back, and that's his story. And that is that's legit. And then the way he talks about it, and maybe it is them letting him do it, but regardless, we know a story. I don't know anything about Aleister Black. I love everything that I've seen about him, but I do understand that maybe if they want to go back to the drawing board and I understand the concept of mystique, but you have to have something to grab onto as well.
Obviously.
And I'm not like really defending WWE. I'm trying not to, because for all I know, they're going to re-debut him as a clown. I don't know. But if you give us some amount of like who the man is behind the guy who like is sleeping on the thing in the coffin and it pops up, like even in NXT, they didn't really do that. Like he got over partially because Full Sail is like a little church and he's like the pastor and he comes out and he black masses everybody. He puts on these great matches. But like when he talks, he's verging on like old school Bray Wyatt territory where it's like, okay, like what are you really saying? Elliptically.
Yes. No, I understand that.
Give me a bit more of the man.
Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree with any of that. I guess, the as I said, who's the onus really on, though? Is it on creative to give him something more to work with? Is it on him to say, all right, I need to rebuild this character from the ground up? Is it a combination thereof? Because there's what he's doing now can work. Like, give him a real story, first of all.
Well, yeah, that's easier said than done, I think, though. I mean, you can give him a real story. This is my speculation. He comes up to main roster. They have him a tag team with Ricochet in the first place, which is that was the stupidest call-up. Those call-ups were just really bad. So that's on creative. That's on Vince. He greenlit that stuff. He said, Paul, give me your 4 best guys, and let's bring them up without a plan. And then two of them we're going to send back. But these guys who have they have kind of history with each other in NXT, kind of. We're just going to put them in a tag team together. Then they split them apart. They put Aleister Black in a room. That was creative trying something. That was, okay, this guy's itching for a fight, and this is a different way of approaching this. But they had no plan for it. That was obvious. And then eventually they did a Cesaro thing, a Buddy Murphy thing. So it's like, that didn't really work. Then Paul Heyman comes along, and he starts having them squash jobbers. That ain't a story.
Exactly. No, that's what he said from the get-go, is that ever since he got called up, he hasn't been the focal point of any real protracted story of consequence.
So I just wonder if this is a case of Vince McMahon looking at him being like, man, I see a lot in this guy, but like, we haven't seen it. Like we just haven't seen it. We know he can wrestle. We know he's got a great presentation, but like, what's that other thing? Now you can do it through, giving him a story, but even with a story, stories are based on characters and what their motivations are and what their, ambitions are.
Yeah.
And if we don't know that, why are we supposed to care about the story?
Also, a story is an opportunity to learn that stuff.
Sure.
Who he is,
yeah,
what his motivations are, what his ambitions are. And he hasn't really been given that platform. And that's on Vince. The
whole thing is on Vince.
The whole thing's on Vince. And I'm saying, if his idea is the character, the gimmick of Aleister Black is in his mind limiting Aleister's potential, I don't think that's the case, because I think it's Vince's creative that's limiting his potential. That's my point.
Yeah. I mean, it's the whole thing is Vince. Like, but I think that seems to be it. I'll put it this way. if the original report from Tom Colley, look, either somebody's wrong or it's like both sides of right. You know, it's like either Tom Colley was saying that Vince is soured on Aleister Black, and then Alex McCarthy saying, well, he soured on the character because he feels like the gimmick isn't a character, and we need to like write him off, reassess, bring him back with like a more, you know, give him some fleshing out. Then, you know, both guys are right, or one guy is wrong. I don't know. So I don't know. I can hope that he's going to take him off TV. Maybe. I mean, I think Aleister Black could be perfect for one of those like well-made sort of mini documentary things where we can get to know the guy, you know, and then go from there. A lot of it is also really difficult these days to figure out during pandemic because there's no crowd to tell you what they like. And that's really difficult. But you're right. I agree with you. It's been on creative. The call up was a botch. His room was a botch. His squashing jobbers with Paul Heyman was a botch. And they got to take him off TV and figure something out for the guy. But I do think that it's in his case. It starts with let's get to know the guy. Let's get to know what he's all about, and then you can put him in a story where you can then figure the rest out, you know, how he reacts and how fans react to that. So, I mean, hopefully it's an optimistic thing. If Vince really likes him, then it's like, okay, he's going to continue to try with him. And it's not like he like Ricochet, who's just was floundering on main event forever. He seems like a guy that I'm not even sure Vince is high on, you know, at least according to this anyways. Vince is high on the guy. He wants to figure him out. That's not a terrible thing. Could be
no,
worse.
It's not a terrible thing, but
worse.
I think the figuring out has less to do with how to change Aleister's gimmick, if you will, as opposed to change creative's approach with him.
Yeah, who knows what the real story is, dude. Anyways, let us know what you guys think in the comments. I mean, I'm kind of curious. I know I've heard both. A lot of people like Aleister Black, and they're frustrated, but I want to know what the friendos think. Let us know in the comments. Aleister Black, yay or nay? How should they re-debut Aleister Black? I want to know.
Just as Calabac, yeah.
Everything is Calabac. Charlotte is no Calabac though, Larson.
No,
because she might be going Hollywood. Talk Sport is reporting that Charlotte's previously reported surgery was completed on July 25th. It's like 3 days ago.
Yeah, apparently everything went well.
Yeah. Additionally, the site is stating that Charlotte's rumored move to TV is still in the works, with sources telling them that Flair is actually currently mulling over a few TV roles that she's been offered. And while she has an interest in doing other work, we're told Flair's priority is wrestling for the time being. Sources have also told TalkSport that several agents have said they'd be shocked if she wasn't the next WWE talent to cross over, but who knows? She legit loves wrestling. TalkSport concludes with the length of time Flair is away from TV may well depend on her TV show or shows, but her original intention was to take a break until late in the year, possibly even until the build for Royal Rumble 2021.
That's quite a time away from the ring.
Would you watch her if she was on one of those CSI shows? No, of course you wouldn't. Those shows are terrible.
I'd be curious. I mean, I wouldn't watch it because it's a CSI show. I just watch to see how she adapts to acting.
Is that what they do on CSI? Is that what you call it?
Well, I feel like a lot of times they're like just reading scripts with cameras rolling. Because it's just so exposition heavy.
It is.
But I would, the way this sounds though is it sounds like they're projects for her, you know, as opposed to, hey, let's put you in a role in CSI or something else.
Is this gonna be like just a reality show, dude?
I think early on that was one of the things, but I have a vague recollection that it wasn't a reality situation. It wasn't a reality show thing. It was something else.
What was that show called with Rosario Dawson, Briar Patch?
Uh-huh.
I watched a couple episodes of that. It was really good. Put Charlotte in a noir drama, a modern
put
day
her like in
noir.
one of those USA shows they run after Raw.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. Totally.
Anyways, what do you guys
this is
think?
exciting.
What do you guys want? What do you want to see Charlotte in? Do you guys watch CSI? Give us your favorite CSI plots in the comments below.
I mean, copy paste. Really, they're all kind of the same.
Give us your favorite CSI plot.
Exactly. This next story excites me. Excites me a lot. So if you thought New Japan Pro Wrestling already had too many titles, well, guess what? I know you think they do, Steve.
They're getting rid of some, right?
No, they're getting another one. Brand new one.
Jeez. Oh, man.
So during a press conference today, hosted by the Rainmaker himself, Kazuchika Okada,
Ooh.
New Japan announced the KOPW 2020 title. I'm guessing that stands for King of Pro Wrestling.
Sounds like it, yeah.
Which is their October pay-per-view. So the Provisional Championship will be crowned at the end of a 2-night tournament of sorts that's going down August 26th and 29th. The rules are a bit kind of outside the box as well. You got a field of 8 wrestlers.
Okay.
They'll square off in 4 first-round matches. Each wrestler will pick a stipulation, but then the fans will vote on which stipulations will be included on those 4 first-round matches. So say it's Yano versus Shingo Takagi. Yano has like a comedy stipulation. Shingo has something else. Fans will vote on what stipulation will actually occur for that particular match. The winners of those 4 first-round matches will square off in a traditional fatal 4-way bout at Summer Struggle on August 29th. But the winner of that match will only be the provisional champion. As New Japan describes it, quote, the KOPW title can be defended until the end of the year with stipulations to be voted on by fans. The winner of the last KOPW 2020 title match of the year will be presented with the KOPW trophy, and the process begins anew in 2021. This sounds weird, crazy, ridiculous, really, really unusual, and it's going to be convoluted, and it's basically my universal title idea with a bunch of stipulations added on to it. I can't wait. This sounds fantastic.
This is so goofy. This is so what is going on over there in New Japan Pro Wrestling? Have you seen the logo for Summer Struggle, by the way?
Uh-huh.
It is the most 99-cent store version of SummerSlam logo I've ever seen. It's hilarious. It's funny because I'm looking at the actual press conference and nowhere does it actually say King of Pro Wrestling.
I know.
Maybe in the actual meat of the video, they actually maybe in Japanese the translation is King of Pro Wrestling. Maybe.
I'm just speculating because
it seems obvious.
Yeah,
it's got to be King of Pro Wrestling.
You get a trophy at the end of the year. You win this. This just sounds like it could be an absolute mess. I love it. I love that New Japan's kind of doing something because they're not huge on stipulation matches. You know, you don't ever see, like, at least for a number of years, cage matches. Usually it's just like a hardcore match or something like that, or a no DQ match maybe. But you don't see any weird stipulation matches generally in New Japan. I like that they're embracing that. I can't wait. I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah, it seems fun. Why not? When is this? Let's see here.
End of August.
It could be defended until the end of the year with stipulations. Okay. Yeah, and the process begins anew in 2021. Yeah, so why not? Why not?
I love it. It
Sure.
should be fun. Fun.
Yeah, that's goofy as heck. Let us know what you guys think of the new Kapow title in New Japan. What stipulations do you want to see? What stipulation matchups do you guys want to see? I'll vote on that stuff.
Heck yeah, man.
Anyways, yeah, another reason to watch more pro wrestling is always a good thing for me. Put the Kapow title on the SummerSlam barge. Have SummerSlam X struggle, and then just everybody fight everybody. This pandemic thing really needs to bring people together while keeping them apart, of course. Yes. Metaphorically
coming together at a safe social distance.
Physically apart. Yeah, so let us know what you guys think. Anyways, thanks everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it. Hey, coming up later on today at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, you can watch Impact Professional Wrestling, and I'll be doing some commentary on it right at twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. You don't even have to watch it on a different device. It's all on our window. Should be a lot of fun. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Until next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.